Huples Cat, stay tuned. I'm going through some food boxes that I packed up probably about 2 or 3 years ago. So I got this cheap online. It's not great quality food. How many calories in this? Don't know. It says 72 hours, so I'm guessing 16 servings. I'm guessing this is probably the minimum calorie of about 7,500. And these are the 2 emergency boxes I'll show you later on that I made up myself. Sweet chili noodles, sauerkraut. This lasts like forever. Never goes off. Some rice, some lentils and quinoa, some Spanish rice with quinoa, red pepper. So you can see what I put in these. Sardines and some of these things. These will need to be used up. This pile here is what I'm planning to take with me when I go on my bug out hike. RDB, there is actually a can opener in this one. I'm still continuing the takedown of our primary residence to move primary residence to an off-grid primary residence. We have approximately about 10 weeks before we're going to list, so we're getting on it. Tomorrow we're going to have a few new windows put in, and we're looking to do a couple of other things like new toilets and a bit of touch-up paintwork in a few places. But because I'm a prepper, my ongoing saga continues. So what I'm going to do today, and I'll show you when I've unpacked them and show you what I'm keeping and throwing away, is survival gear for food. Pretty sure I have more than 5 boxes, but we shall see. So basically all of this stuff is going to get unpacked and then placed on the table, and we'll look at it and say what we're keeping, what we're not keeping, and what I stored up, and maybe give you some ideas, because I am a vegan, and so some of my food choices for long-term storage may be different than yours. So this was just loose downstairs by the soya milk, so I brought it up. I always think having good lemon juice is a good idea for everybody. What I did when I ordered my 10 buckets from Canadian Tire, because they're the cheapest thing, is I ordered a second opener, because getting the lids off these things without this is near impossible. I also ordered myself a little treat. I got myself some trail marking tape for the new place as well. This might well come in handy. I don't necessarily want to tell people who wander onto the property from the back way, though that's hard to do, where to get to, how to get to the house. But this sort of thing might come in handy for a bucket digging project that I'll be doing, not this year but probably next year. A lot of these buckets, if we don't keep the original house on the property, are going to be scattered into 103 acres of forest, and I would like a little bit of tape around the periphery of it to give me a clue that 60 feet from this tape, on the back side of the tape, there's a bucket, and have like 2 or 3 markers, so I will know where the bucket approximately is. It's always a good idea. Memories fade. Being kind, I saved up some of these, so I've just opened this one and it doesn't feel too bad. Let's see if Wolfie will eat it. If he won't, it's bad. And little Wolfred is sniffing it. Is he going to eat it? No. Put it there, see if he'll eat it. That's reluctance. That is reluctance. So I'm going to junk these. Well, that was a fun find. It's like I say, 5 boxes, and one of the buckets already had some stuff in it. And because it's not SHTF, I'm not going to keep stuff that I'm unsure of. In SHTF I would keep everything, but, and this is the but, some of the oils are going to be rancid, so you might be able to use them for trapping, possibly, or lubrication, but be very careful using food oils for that sort of thing. The other thing that you might want to consider is that everything you open, everything, except perhaps for pasta, should be boiled or fried for about at least a minute or 2, bubbling, and stirring aggressively throughout the whole heating process. So if there's any botulism in there, it should be dead and the toxins should be deactivated. Don't eat anything that smells off, don't eat anything that looks off. Remember, botulism can look just normal and smell normal. There's no clues with botulism. So you have to assume everything that's expired might be full of botulism. If the tins are intact, not dented, not rusted, and don't produce gas when you open them, and there's no obvious stuff wrong with them, they can still have botulism in them. Though it's extremely rare with modern canning methods, though not very rare with home canning. And even worse, if you're actually out there doing oils, making your own oils up in little bottles with lavender in and stuff, they're a really high frequency cause of botulism in the modern age. So I'm not going to bore the heck out of you and show you everything, but I'm just going to do a quick scan so you can see what I did. Just as a reminder for people starting prepping or looking for ideas, this sort of thing, 99 cents to 1.99 Canadian, it lasts for a long time, well past the expiry date. Again, you're going to have to boil this up, make sure it's boiled, not eaten cold, though you can eat it cold. Be wary of it, you don't have to microwave it, you can easily do it in a pan. You can also slightly open the top and put it in standing boiling water and heat it that way, but again, heat it as long as you can, stir it. Texture might be a bit off. That is probably, because I will have bought it at 99 cents, probably about $8-9 Canadian's worth. This one I think I bought because it was on offer. 16 servings, Granny's Homestyle Potato Soup, Traveller's Stew, Liberty Bell Potato Cheddar Soup, and Creamy Chicken Rice, Patriot Pantry. Don't recommend these, they have some use, but I wouldn't recommend these for long-term survival, maybe for on the route or whatever. It's claiming to be 72-hour food supply. Congratulations. Anyway, this would be last-ditch food for me, but it was cheap. I bought it cheap. It was like, I think, $14.99. Another metal scrubber, absolutely vital. It's going to go in this tin, which is already hard goods. Whole bunch of black beans. A couple of survival kits, which I'm actually going to open up and show at the beginning of this video, because they're kind of more interesting, I think. 4 kilograms of spaghetti, whole bunch of pasta, one more bunch of pasta, some polenta, good stuff to have. Got a whack load of salt. Can't have too much salt. I have white sugar. Again, I don't use sugar, but I can see why I might want to use it with my oats once in a while. I do, of course, have maple syrup and lots of tea bags and coffee and another one of these. This is actually, I think, probably gone off and I'm going to throw it. But you can see the calorie difference. Read the labels. Calories is 140 calories. That's not too bad. Not much fat in it, so that will reduce the chance of it going rancid, and very little of anything that's useful to you, but quite a lot of sodium. But again, adding this on top of white rice will stretch food, not provide you with great nutrition, but if you've got dehydrated dandelions or you're actually trapping fish or whatever, you can actually make this sort of thing good. And the variety is the important thing here. Because the Patriot Pantry basically is dehydrated, freeze-dried potato with additives to it to make it taste like cheese. I'm hoping they didn't use cheese. I'm suspecting they did. I'm suspecting they used milk solids. So that's one of the reasons I don't like those sorts of foods, is that they can actually go rancid. And the reason they don't is because they're so heavily dehydrated and then vacuum sealed, usually with gas in. But I wouldn't go that route myself. I have some fun stuff here. I have more lemon. I have a GU gel. I like these for running, and actually I'll keep this one out and I will use this even though it's well expired. They don't really go off in these packets. It's 100 calories of a squirting. I'll use that on my bug out walk that I'm going to do. Don't recommend this at all. Probably got it free at the university. Probably just going to dump this. I don't really think it has any use at all. I do not believe in energy drinks or energy shots. That's just me. There was one bottle of water in all of this. When I put these together in the buckets, I'm actually going to bring up some lifeboat water from downstairs to actually put in the gaps, because I think it's really important to have water in with your food. So this is something you might not recognise if you're an American, but this is called Marmite, and Marmite's very savoury and a good source of B vitamins, so that's in there unopened. As soon as you open these, they go off fairly quickly. And these plastic squeezy bottles are terrible because they're designed not to give you most of the product. Another fun one was this. It's an old tea tin, and inside the tea tin, various found candies and chocolates. So I'm just going to seal that up and leave it. They might be a bit off, but I'm sure they'll last forever. They haven't gone off at this point. A little bit of fish, always a good use of protein and fats. And from Halloween's past, and an open box of 50 Hershey bars. Like I say, I'm a vegan, but food is food. Some more dried mushrooms, always a good additive to put to things. The coffee. I have 3 packets of coffee. I will have bought this from Shoppers Drug Mart when it was $7.99. It's intact. I found that coffee does go quite tasteless, so I'm going to reuse that and get rid of it. One of the things I'm excited to do as a project, not this year but next year, is actually get green coffee beans, because unroasted coffee beans last an awful long time. And roasting them is not too difficult from what I've read. So having like a couple of hundredweight of coffee beans that are green and being able to roast them myself should mean that I can get occasional cups of coffee no matter how long SHTF is. Don't neglect seaweed as a source of salt. It's also very kind of good for you for certain things. These are kind of expensive and you should do them yourselves, but hey, I bought it and it's going to last for infinite length of time. These I'm going to have a really good look at. There is a little bit of dust on them and I'm not really sure if they're still going to be appropriate to eat or not. This one only went off a year ago, so this one will be fine. Unfortunately, Kitty won't eat peas or carrots or corn or anything like that from a tin or even from a bottle. She has to have it fresh. So that's one of the things that we have problems with.
Not like cereal.
But again, SACF, beggars can't be choosers. Baked beans. These went off 2 years ago. So I'm going to leave these out and use them because I really like baked beans. It's one of my staples. And these ones here, again, you'll notice because I'm vegan, they're all just in tomato sauce. I would recommend that if you do eat meat, you get a variety. Obviously these are not. So this also went off in 2020. Probably got this for the Russian debacle that went on in 2019. Lazy canning. They look perfectly fine to me. I think they'll last forever as well, so they don't get thrown out. These are good. I've left some of the baked bean ones out, and I'm going to pack these away. I think these probably will not go rancid, but they definitely will need a good stir and a good heat. These are from gifts people give us. Neither of us eat these. They're going out. Tomato paste, I know, will not survive this length of time, so they're going out. Kitty's flatly refusing to eat the peaches. She's probably right. The weight of these probably means that we shouldn't use them. Same with the salsa, that's going to go out. One of the things I am going to definitely keep is the jams, because jams are always a good thing to have. Obviously you want to keep the jams intact. Don't store stuff you've already opened. One of the tasks for us when we move is to actually locate where the blueberry bushes are. There's quite a lot of them, and find them and harvest a little bit of the blueberries by being bear aware. It would be useful to actually know where the blueberry bushes are, and one of my other things I'm desperately trying to figure out is where the natural salt lick is. Natural salt licks is where the deer and everybody else goes to get salt so far from the ocean. Ontario, large parts of it was in fact ocean bed, so there's a lot of salt licks. The trick is finding them. So this sort of thing's kind of fun. We don't really use marmalade, but this has pectin and vanilla, and it's fig marmalade. It's intact. Looks perfectly okay to me. This sort of thing would be a real bonus grid down to have available, because I won't be having any more figs again unless I've stored something like this. The big coconut oil looks absolutely fine, so I'm going to use that. I have a few plastic knives and spoons and a fork. There's a bit more fish. And I have in these from a Poker Box Tabasco sauce. How about you? That was kind of iffy to me. I could keep it anyway. And this is some butcher's seasoning. Again, if we get some squirrel or we get some deer, I might be happy to have that. So some black beans and some lentils and some rosti. All of this sort of stuff will last forever, and it's always worth having. I'm going to chuck this out. It's garlic. It'd be nice to keep it, but it's well past its expired date, and it's actually stored in oil, soybean oil actually, so it's going out. If I'm going to store garlic, what I've done in other boxes is I store dehydrated garlic powder, or garlic salt. I think that's the way to go. This is not the way to go. I think it's really important not to just do one or the other. It's too easy to say, I have chickens, the chickens will be fine, I'll have eggs. Chickens can die quite easily, right? So make sure you have redundancy in your long-term storage preps. You should always prep what you normally eat. The reason we prep stuff like this is because it was a free Christmas gift. It was either that it was going chucked out and I couldn't figure out who to give it to. But clearly this sort of stuff, although it might work, I don't want to eat this anyway. I notice in a lot of prep boxes they have like 2,000, 10,000 tea bags. Goodness sake, get a variety. Happy birthday, Mom. So I'm keeping this. I can't see it's leaked, but obviously it has at some point, but it looks sort of okay. These were also free gifts from my university. They were hook students on tartrazine. I have used this in the past. We didn't like it, so I kept one, but you know, there you go. This looks a bit funky. This is going out. This is virgin coconut oil. You want to get extra virgin if you can, but virgin is good. It's supposed to last. This was actually expired over 2 years ago, so that's going to go out. Because when I use this, it shouldn't be this week. It might be a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now. And although it's a waste of money, what it is, it's bought over a period of time, and it's there in case of need. You wouldn't not buy house insurance in case your house caught fire, though hopefully you're going to do steps to make sure your house never catches fire. But you still would have fire insurance. And I look at long-term food storage in much the same way. Obviously with a huge pantry, everything would be in the pantry and I'd rotate it. And I understand why people are reluctant to throw food away, and I am reluctant to, but I'm going to be quite aggressive. All of the salts, they shift fine, they rattle fine. Well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this. I will show it boxed up and labelled, and I hope you have a great day. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and even a subscription to validate me as a person, or give me a thumbs down just to let me know you saw it and hate me. And please leave a comment, because that's the actual important part of this message. If you leave a comment, you know, what do you think I should have thrown out that I didn't? Do you think I should have thrown out the stuff I threw out? Bear in mind, this is the type of prep that I want to have. I want to have bags and bags of white rice, which I have. I also have a lot of pasta here. I'm intending to have a lot of carbohydrates from just pure pasta and white rice, but I want to be able to put stuff into that that's going to help me out until my garden grows, until I can find foraging, until I can get fish coming online. This was a Wolfie Terrier 2021 production. Meow, Hupple cat. Meow, Huples cat. Meow. Meow, Huples cat.